The film starts in the future, I mean the upcoming time, where we are shown that a company has made some robots that look like humans, which are called simulants, which is also the name of this movie. These simulants robots are given 4 principles, which they always have to obey in any case. The first principle was that they cannot kill any human being. The second is that they cannot upgrade themselves. I mean, by making changes in themselves, they cannot make themselves better. The third, that they cannot break any rule of the government. They have to obey in any case. The fourth and most important principle is that they have to obey humans in any case, because they were actually made to help humans and designed in such a way that they do everything for humans. After this, we see a couple who were both husband and wife. The husband's name was Ivan. They also had an old simulant in their house who used to do all their works, because Ivan was very fond of playing the piano, while his wife was always busy making paintings. Now every day, Ivan used to have a dream in which these 3 are going somewhere by car. Suddenly, a car came and hit their car. Due to this, they had a very bad accident, after which their car fell in a rock and has a narrow escape from falling into a pit, due to which their life was saved. But Ivan got a lot of injuries every day. Because of this dream, Ivan used to get up in fear. He thinks that this has never happened. Then why is this dream bothering me again? And again, many times he tried to tell his wife about this, on which she always said one thing: "This is just your dream and nothing else. Coincidentally, you must be having such dreams every day, because actually nothing like this happened." From her conversation, it seems that she was hiding something, because most of the times she ignored this. She always stayed in a separate room from Ivan, where Ivan was not allowed to go. Now we look at the police of the robot company, whose job was to keep an eye on these robots, whether they are working properly or not. If there is any problem, then they should be caught immediately and stopped. Here a detective got a simulant whose name was Esme, was hired to find her, who had been close for the last 3 years, but now suddenly her signals have been activated, due to which she ran away, and now she has no whereabouts. Now the detective came to know that Esme is living in a rented house, so he quickly went to catch her. He stood outside her house. As soon as Esme came out, he pointed a gun at her to catch her, but she was so powerful that she first removed the gun that was in front of her, then punched the detective and dropped him down, then picked him up again, and this time she threw him down the stairs, after doing which she started running away from here. Now this was quite strange, because one of the principles of Simulant was to obey every word of humans, but here she was not obeying this principle. But here the detective had a special kind of magnetic gun, with which he goes to find Esme. As soon as he came to one place and shot from the gun in the sky, all the simulant robots suddenly jammed. When the detective moved forward, he saw Esme in this stopped state, who was just about to run away with the bike, but stopped from the chute, and now the detective puts a collar device on her neck and catches her. Then he left Esme to his office and came back to her house to investigate. Now he was investigating when a boy came here who was a scientist and a hacker. Here he tells his name Casey and started saying that I am Esme's neighbor. She and I are good friends. Who are you and what are you doing here? Where is Esme? On this, he replies, "Do you know the girl who has been living with you for a long is not a normal girl, but a simulant, a robot." Knowing this, Casey gets quite shocked. After his departure, the detective finds a dairy, a fish tank, and a book. Seeing this, the detective becomes quite shocked. He begins to think, because no robot has been designed like this to date, that has feelings and humans like humans, and who keeps things with her that humans keep. Later, he returned to his office, where Esme was laid down on the table. Now, the robotic chip was removed from her body. After scanning her whole body, it finds out that while making her simulant, the code which was put inside her is completely altered, and the code she has now, because of which she has not remained the robot, but she has human-like feelings inside her. On checking her brain, they find out the memories of Casey, from which they understand that it means Casey and Esme used to like each other. This was quite shocking, because no human till now has such feelings as humans. They've defined that human who had hacked Esme's system, that is after controlling her, has changed her completely. To get more information, the detective returned to catch Casey, but he had already left his house. To investigate more, the detective comes to Esme's house. He finds a book that was too old, bought by Esme. He comes comes to the shop from where this book was taken. He was investigating the shopkeeper, and Casey comes there. The detective runs from there to catch Casey, but Casey already ran from there. Ivan's wife was taking a bath in the pool. She was looking a little upset. When Ivan comes to her to calm her down, his wife pushes him away by saying, "Now, this is too much. The time has come to tell you the whole truth." Saying this, she comes with Ivan to the room, where Ivan's entry was forbidden initially. There was a simulant robot like his wife. It was like his wife, because it was his wife's duplicate. Here it reveals that Ivan wasn't a human but a simulant. His wife shows him this truth. She removes the skin of his chest and shows him the chip there. Seeing what, Ivan gets quite shocked. He says this is a lie and isn't possible. He isn't a robot but a human. His wife tells him that no, you're really a robot, a clone like my husband. Actually, the dreams of the accident you'd often were true, because I and my husband got an accident in which he really died, after which I went to the company and made a clone of my husband. Before that accident, when the company started to make these simulants, both of us decided if someone between us died, we won't marry but with the clone of each other. That's why my clone was also made here, and you're the clone of my husband. I hid the fact of the accident from you, so you keep away from these things. I wasn't able to live after keeping this secret in my heart. That's why I told you the whole reality. He refuses to agree and says, "No, I just love you. I just want to live with you, not with anyone, not with your clone or anyone else." Hearing this, his wife feels strange. She stops his system on the pretext of making him sleep. After a while, Casey comes here, who tells himself the worker of that company. "My job is to check the malfunctions of the robot and fix them." Ivan's wife tells him that he is having human-like feelings. He is frequently having dreams of the accident. How is he seeing the memories of my husband? He checks Ivan and tells his wife, "Because the memories of your husband were put into his mind. That is the reason he could see his memories frequently. He is insisting to make love with you and to live with you, because he is having the feelings of your husband." Ivan's wife says that now I don't have to live with a simulant, so you can end him after shutting him down completely. But Casey suggests that instead of shutting him down and send him to a specific area I know. Saying this, he gives the card of that area. He says that there are many other simulants there, so he can live there easily after going there, so he'll be saved from being destroyed. Hearing this, Ivan's wife gets emotional. Although he is a simulant but also a clone of her husband, he has everything of her husband. She decides not to shut him up and asks for some time to send him to that area. The detective comes and meets the manager of the robot company. He tells everything about Esme and asks about Casey to get information. He finally tells that Casey is a worker in your company. There was no worker with the name of Casey, so the manager doesn't get anything. When the detective shows her Casey's sketch made by him, the manager understands and begins to tell him that he is not Casey, but the most intelligent person in our company. First of all, he started making android robots, but very soon he left this task and his job because he thought if they are simulant robots and don't have feelings and emotions, but still, they need to be taken care of. Humans only look at them only as their servants. They also need to get a few of their rights as well. Ivan's wife brings him to the place where the other simulants live. After leaving him in a room, she went after saying bye to him. After a while, Casey comes there, who begins to tell Ivan that I know you're a simulant and your wife wanted to make you shut down completely. I suggested bringing you here, and if you want to meet your wife again and want her to come back, so you've to support me and have to stand with me. There the detective had to find Casey at any cost, so he hacks his car's location, i.e. the place where he is now, because he has no account, so he can't find his location. He brings Esme to her senses again and begins to ask her about Casey. She was hearing him but was standing with a bowed head. She didn't tell him. Ivan's clone wasn't still believing himself to be a simulant. He comes to the place where the real Ivan had an accident. Coming here, he realizes that this is the place where I often had in my dreams. So he understands that I'm really a clone. He directly goes to Casey. He begins to tell him that I will make you like a human. He agrees and Casey begins to operate him. He cuts his chest and brings out the main chip from there, from which he'll live like humans. He will live on his own and nobody will tease him. Casey brings him to a club to celebrate his new life. The detective was finding the location of Casey, so he finds the location of this club. When he sees Ivan in the cameras, he tries to contact his master, that is his wife, so he could somehow reach Casey. The clone of Esme in the club that was made by Casey comes to him and begins to dance. They were talking to each other about a plan. We can learn here that Casey wants to free all the simulants of the world from those 4 rules made by the company so they can also live a life of peace and freedom, and they can't live under human rule, and their life can't be like a prison. They went to the parking area of the company where they kidnap the biggest scientist in the company. They take the ID of the main system of the company and password of the company from him and puts a virus into it after hacking it, so the 4 rules made for the robots could be ended. But 2 days were required for the upgradation of this system. But the detective has traced their location, where he comes with his companions. There was a van where Esme's clone was living. As soon as she sees them, she runs, but the detective shoots her with his special gun and stops her. They bring her to the office, and they learn that neither they could hack her nor they could see her code. Casey has put a lot of security on her system, so no one can see her. When she started to be investigated, the light on the neck turns on. That is, her destructive mode turns on. When their investigation increased, something begins to happen to Esme's clone. After a while, she was destroyed completely, because Ivan's wife had a call from the detective, so she went to that area to meet Ivan, who was coming from somewhere. She remains quite shocked after seeing him quite changed. She was also explaining to him that, "You shouldn't walk like this. You're a simulant. Your life can be in danger." On which Ivan says, "I do everything for you. I've altered myself because of you, so you can embrace me as your real husband, and we can live happily together." During their talks, they came quite close. Ivan's wife felt so strange, so she went after stopping him. In the evening, Ivan went to meet her in the house, where he sees her with her friend. Seeing her with someone else, he feels jealous. He talks to his wife about this, so they had an argument, after which he also comes back, now to get Ivan and Casey caught. His wife tells the detective about the area where they were living, so the detective immediately left to catch them with his friends. But in the office, Esme was hearing this conversation. She immediately calls Casey and tells him about it. "The detective is coming to catch you, so get out of there." Knowing this, Casey comes to Ivan and tells him everything. He started asking, "Now tell me, where should we go to hide?" At this, Ivan replied that, "I have a farmhouse. Let's go there." So now, before the detective comes here, they leave to go to the farmhouse and save from getting caught. Because when the detective came here, he did not get anything. He came back to his office disappointed. He starts interrogating Esme. Then she tells him that, "I love someone. That's why I told him before you left there." Then he saved his life and ran away from there. Hearing this, the detective got very angry. That's why he starts beating the Esme a lot. Also orders her to shut down completely. When her process was started, the Esme started to suffer. The detective felt bad, but he kept himself normal, thinking that he is not a human, but a robot. Now Ivan's wife once again tells the detective to get him caught, that they have gone to the farmhouse. That's why he also left for the farmhouse. At night, Ivan and Casey reached the farmhouse, but the next morning when Casey came out, then the detective also came there, who takes him to the gunpoint. To stop him, Casey went ahead and both fight. In the meantime, the detective was shot and Casey was injured, and when he touched his wound, then instead of blood, white liquid was coming out from there, by which we could understand that Casey is actually a simulant. He got very angry with the detective. Then he picks him up and throws him away. The detective had already been shot, where he got more injured. Then to spend his last moment, he went to the shed, where Ivan also sits next to him. After a while, the detective dies, and Ivan came back to the farmhouse. Now it was shown that after 2 days, this virus was updated and spread into the systems of the world, by which the rules put on the robot were broken, and in this way, the robot became free. Ivan tells Casey that, "I don't want you to die, I want to cure you," on which Casey says that no problem. Now if I die, then there is no problem, because my mission was just to spread this virus and to end the rules, which I did today. If I die like this, here my master real Casey will come, by which we got to know that this whole plan was of real Casey, who made his clone Casey and got him to do this work. and he was the worker in that robot company. Now, after a while, we see the real Casey, who was actually the creator of all these androids. That is, the one who made them was their master. He did all this especially for Esme, because he loved her. That's why he wanted to get her free. The real Casey thanks the clone Casey to complete his work, after which the clone Casey was killed. Ivan also came to his wife to convince her for the last time, who was in the pool at that time, but once again she refuses to accept him. This time Ivan got so angry that he grabs his wife by the hair and starts drowning in the water. He keeps her in the water, because of which she dies. Now Ivan went to the room where his wife's clone was lying, which he had to turn on after his wife's death. Then Ivan goes there and activates it, so that now he can spend his life with her. Now at one place, there was an auction of these robots, including Esme, whose memory was erased. At a very high price, Casey buys her through a man. As soon as she sat in the car, Casey was also there, who is very happy to see her, because now he was going to spend his life with Esme, although her memory was erased. Both left from there to start their new life. And with this, the story of this movie ends here.